I'm back in England. I'm back home after a nice trip to France. I was there for work. I was at a conference called Zoetropism's Ecofeminist Stories of Belonging, and I was there to give a paper. I talked about how short story cycles might be a good form for thinking through climate change and our responses to climate change. So it was a great conference, met lots of nice people, and it was 2 days of papers. One of the highlights was an artist called Ivor who lives in Nantes, who shared with us his garden, which is a sort of multiple rooftop garden, not on rooftops he owns, but he just sort of started putting pots out there and eventually sort of took over this area and has since become a tourist attraction, and he has now permission to sort of continue this project of building this garden in this kind of disused space, which was just kind of concrete and asphalt and things. So he said some really interesting things, and I'll share a little bit of it with you now.
It's an organic garden, no pesticides or herbicides. There is now 4 composters. The density of leaves, for example, decrease the temperature 4 degrees less. I'm talking about ecological issues because I'm very sensitive to this since I'm a young person, but it's mostly, I don't know, but it's a quest of beauty and poetry, yes.
After Ivor's talk, he invited us to the garden, so it isn't open to the public at the moment, but he let us in and took us up to one of the balconies so that we could look out over the garden. And of course it's early spring, so it wasn't in its full glory, but it was still astonishing to see what he has created in that space. Ivor's garden wasn't the only place we visited. We also went to the botanical gardens, and the MA students had been doing a project in the gardens and had put on sort of skits where they were imagining if the nature in those gardens could speak back to humans and sort of hold them accountable for their actions, their destructive actions. So that was really clever and really good, and we went back again and just kind of looked at the flowers, and there was a camellia labyrinth that we wandered through as well, so that was nice. So we spent a lot of time in the conference room, sort of in this dark windowless room, listening to people talk, so to get out into the gardens was really lovely at the end of the day. But I'm back home now, and there's some jobs need doing, and one of the first things I need to do is get down to the allotment and stake the broad beans, because we are due high winds today, really. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. There we go, a little bit of a mishmash. String is just kind of crisscrossed in some kind of pattern, and some of the broad beans are attached to the poles. What's your problem? Not got your cushion? It's okay, we're going home now. The sky's starting to look a bit threatening, so we've got our bag of trays to do some seed sowing at home. And in my messy lean-to, but well, I wanted to show you something, but look what I've spotted. Oh, not a dog rolling in the garden, although that's cute. Yeah, I reckon she did that straight on top of that one snake's head fritillary that came up. Well done, Dory. But no, another cheeky thing. Hello. Sorry, my friend. You're going to have to go off into the garden. But the thing I actually wanted to show you was this. I have fuchsias flowering in the lean-to. These are the ones that I overwintered. And yeah. Oh, how gorgeous is that? So beautiful. The rest of the lean-to has been taken over by cosmos. I have sown a ridiculous amount of cosmos. I gave my mum a couple of trays yesterday because I just can't fit any more in here. Oh well, it'll be lovely in the summer if I keep them alive that long. And then in terms of the dahlias, there's not much going on yet. The ones that have got some growth on have tended to be the ones that my own saved tubers. There's a bit of Night Queen. And got some more over here. Those are the two speckled mix ones. And everything's looking pretty lovely in the garden. Lots of things ready to pop. All those tulips. Got some bargain tulips yesterday, which was Easter Monday. Mum and I went to the garden centre and we got 5 pots of tulips for £5, and each one has got sort of 5 bulbs in. And they're all ready to open. So that was nice. We decided to buy them as Easter presents to each other. She got 5 and I got 5. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to have a sit down and have a cup of tea before I do anything else, because I'm not so sure if it's coming across, but I'm feeling really tired. It's been a couple of days since France, but I hope it's not the COVID. No, we shall see. Have a cup of tea and then see what the afternoon brings. Good morning. Well, yesterday was a washout, both in terms of my energy levels and the weather. Really blustery strong winds yesterday and lots of rain. So I've already been down the plot this morning to check on the broad beans that I staked yesterday before the rain started, and they're all fine, so good. Yes, some better staked than others, but they all survived the night, as did the new fruit trees, so that was all good. The other reason I went down there was to let in my new plot neighbour. So I promised plot neighbour news last week, and here it is. So the plot is next to mine is actually 3 plots, and the person who had tenancy of them also had 2 plots at the other end of the site as well. So 5 plots in total. You wouldn't get that now. Anyway, they've gone and given up all their plots, and so I got in contact with my sister's partner, Mark. Mark has been very instrumental in my gardening journey so far. He helped me build, well, he built a lot of the raised beds in my garden. He's going to help me put up the greenhouse on the allotment. And has generally been very supportive of my gardening journey. He's had allotments in the past, so I got in contact with him and I'm like, I think you should go for it. I think you should have the plot next to mine. And he was up for it, and so I contacted the steward. We went down on Sunday and saw the plot, and you've seen the plot, you've seen it in the back of my videos. It was a mess, and once you start digging around in there, it's even more of a mess underneath. Underneath all that wood chip and wood. So she's doing that thing where she looks like she wants to roll on something, probably fox poop. Come on. Good girl. Anyway, so it was some umming and ahhing because what is a huge plot next to mine, as I say, is actually 3, so it would need dividing back into 3. But Mark sort of just started clearing it because we were taking stuff off of it anyway to put on my plot, anything that I thought would be useful. So we started clearing it, and perhaps showing that amount of willing turned the tables, because the steward came back up not long after and said they'd had a rethink and they were actually going to just split it into 2, so he could have a good sized plot right next to mine, and it's his. So he's still got to sign the paperwork, etc., but he's been busy clearing it, which is what he's doing now. Now when we go back I'll show you the progress that he's made. Yeah, so that's really exciting because we can work together a bit more and perhaps solve the flooding issue and just help each other out, and have a nice known entity neighbour. So it'll be interesting actually, with our plots being very similar in terms of the water and the levels, how we work them, because obviously I'm doing no dig, but Mark is planning on rotivating his, and I'm trying to get this kind of food foresty permaculture thing going. Well, a bit of a hybrid between sort of more traditional rows and beds, but Mark will definitely be much more utilitarian kind of in his approach. There'll be rows, there'll be, you know, marked out beds and things like that. So he's much more of the traditional allotment route. Actually he originally had an allotment just opposite the ones we've got now, behind the container, but that was so poor in terms of the flooding that he did give that up. That was about 10 years ago. So it's really for him a return to the allotment. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to have quite different styles of growing on the 2. Maybe we will have rival vlogs, and I did say, or I think he came up with it, his handle on Instagram should be get that dog off my plot. So, but he will be on Instagram when he decides his handle and starts it up. You can follow his journey on there, and I'll be sure to link to it in a later video. Anyway, on to me, the star of this show. I think Dory's the star of the show. But yeah, my plans for today. So it is a nice morning, but we're due more rain and wind this afternoon. So I want to get as much done this morning as possible, although I'm currently on a rather lengthy dog walk. Come on, Dory! This is like prime seed sowing time, and I'm away again from tomorrow. So squeezing in a little trip away with Liam to Wales, which is where we tend to end up when we go away, because it's beautiful and we like to walk and see the countryside and be out in the fresh air. And we're actually staying in an Airbnb that's in some gardens, like gardens that are open to the public. So we'll be looking around there we'll be looking around there too, and that's that'll be in next week's video. I paused here and I'm distracted because the wild garlic is out and it's beautiful, and I'm going to pick a little bit to take home and make something with. And then yeah, back home and seed sowing. Dory, you're gonna stink of garlic. Right, back on the plot and or on the site, just get into the plot and I'll show you what Mark has been up to so far. So that is what is cleared so far, which is mad. Say hi to the viewers, Mark. But But yeah, he's only been working on this a couple of days and already cleared all of that. It looks way better than it was. Oh, Dory's always very excited to see Mark. And the shed that he's got on this plot is super. It's like a proper little summer house. And these shutters that you can see that are painted purple, I'm sure we'll be repainting it because it's rather garish. They actually fold down, so you can have a little summer house thing going on. And oh, right, just squeeze between water butts here. There we go. The greenhouse is going, but he's got another one to come back onto this plot. But we found a whole massive clump of comfrey with lots of dead comfrey around the edge. So I'm just going to pick that up and put it in my compost heap. And I might take some more cuttings of this one to add to my little cutting collection at home, which will eventually go onto my plot over there. He's already been digging. Ready for, what are you going to put in here, Mark?
Potatoes.
Potatoes. So one of the things we found in their shed was a lot of like supermarket packets of seeds, like cooking seeds. So there was coriander, fenugreek, and what was the other one? I remember, mustard seed. So I've done some little patches of coriander. I've just kind of titivated the, no, is that what you say? Titivated, is that the right word? Anyway, zhuzhed up the topsoil and sprinkled it on and zhuzhed it back. So we'll see if anything comes up. It'll be a good test of the compost that I put on top of the cardboard as well, because if nothing grows in it, then yeah, well, we're in trouble then. But the mustard seed and the fenugreek, I just looked up and they're perfectly okay to use as green manures. So I've just sprinkled those on the beds on top of the facelia. So we'll see what comes up of those, because it was very old seed, so it seemed no point in trying to keep it. Just might as well stick it on the beds and see what it does. If nothing else, it'll feed the birds. But okay, the weather's starting to turn, so time to head home and get on with that seed sowing. Okay, I'm ready to sow some seeds, and I have such a pile of seeds inside, way more than I can sow right now, and way more than I could probably sow this year. So I've just picked some of the ones that need sowing before the end of April, so they're more time sensitive, and some that I just want to get in. I want to get in more straw flowers. I love straw flowers. I didn't get any last year. I'm determined to get some this year. I have some that have germinated. I want more. More kale. I just want all the kale. This is that emerald ice one, which is another really beautiful kale. Finally got some kohlrabi seeds. So I've got my Wilco's one, which is purple Vienna, and I've got a Real Seeds one, which is enormous kohlrabi. Huge white bulbs, up to 4 kilograms in weight. And then these are the time sensitive ones, which is artichoke, green globe. Have never grown artichoke before. I'm not keen on artichoke. Don't get it. I've bought it from the shops before. I've cooked it as you're supposed to cook it. What a weird vegetable. However, they are very big plants and very beautiful, and I have room for them on the allotment. So I'm going to give them a go. Maybe homegrown ones are the way to go. And lobelia. I'm not sure how much hanging basket action is going to be around here, but they actually, lobelia was really lovely in my wheelbarrow planters with the little ponds in, so I'm going to get some of that. The artichoke and lobelia definitely need the propagator. I'm not sure if any of these do. Oh, the straw flowers will. Keep warm, don't let them dry out. Don't dry out for 4 days. The other thing I thought I might get in, if the weather holds, the sun is shining right now, but it was pouring down just a few minutes ago, and we had a beautiful rainbow, but didn't get my phone out fast enough to capture it. Maybe we'll get another one before the end of the video. What was I saying? Carrots. I think I want to put my carrots out before I go away. I got a new addition to the greenhouse. Have a look at this. I finally bought a thermometer. So it's been 26.8 today. Last night it went down to 2.8. Currently 14.9. I feel like I get fairly obsessive about this, much like the energy smart meter. Right, so yes, I'm going to use these Stewart's trays, recommended by Plot 37, Jess at Plot 37, and I found some in a garden centre and she says they're brilliant and she should know. So I bought some. I bought enough to fit all in the propagator. I'm using some elsewhere. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. See how far that goes. But I did pick up some cells and things that I just found in the street. So I can use those as well. I might just... No. Do one drop at a time, Kerry. Okay, let's sow some seeds. Right, these globe artichokes say sow 1/4 inch deep in a tray of seed compost, water well, maintain a temperature at 15 to 20 degrees, keep moist. Okay, I can use my put little holes in for these. How many am I doing then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's an odd number. Let's put another one there. Could end up with 10 globe artichokes. I am thinking though, as well as the allotment, wouldn't it look lovely to have a big globe artichoke in the front garden as part of my food forest? I think that would look fabulous. Right, there we go. Oh dear, lost one. They look a bit like sunflower seeds. So like the straw flowers, the lobelia shouldn't be covered in compost. It needs light to germinate. So with the straw flowers and with these, I'm just sowing onto the surface of the soil that has been sort of tampered down a little bit, and just covering with a fine layer of horticultural grit. It was very tiny seed. I think I've used it all. Okay, just finishing up with the kale, emerald ice, and I'm going to sort out the ones that need, oh gosh, not many seeds in here. Oh, those will all go in. That's it for emerald ice. Who was that? Sarah Raven again. I don't think I'm going to be buying from Sarah Raven all that much anymore. Can't say I've been overly impressed. We'll see how these come up. Anyway, yes, I'm going to sort out which ones need to go in the propagator and which are the windowsill, but everything is coming indoors for while I'm away. I have to say, I am already loving these trays. It's much easier to keep your varieties separated, and they fit so neatly in this tray. Yeah, they were worth it. I think they were like $1.19 each or $1.29 each. I think I got 8, so it seemed a bit of an indulgence. I don't like to spend money on pots particularly. I like to just get them free from outside the garden centre. But yeah, I think they were worth it, and they're good hard plastic that will last a long time, like these Charles Dowding, what do you call it? I say it wrong every time. It's a CD60, isn't it? Charles Dowding 60 cell. There you go. Right, what else have I got to show you before I potentially go up and get the carrots? I took some more comfrey cuttings from Mark's plot and potted those up. They look sad at the moment. They will be fine. I'll show you the ones that I did before. Look at those beasts. They rooted so well. I guess that's why it is a weed, essentially. But yeah, super pleased with those. At some point I'm going to have to take them out of the pot and divide them up. There are roots starting to come from the bottom, and that was the second lot I did. Let's check the first lot. Oh yeah, lots of roots. Yeah, super pleased with those. Okay, I need to take these seeds back inside so they don't get damp while I'm away. Otherwise, I think I'm done. That was more than I actually expected to do this afternoon, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, I'm done. I'm going on holiday. By the time this airs, I'll be back and at work, and hopefully I can show you some nice gardens and walks in next week's episode. Thank you for watching this mishmash of stuff that I've been up to over the last couple of days. I did want to be more productive, to be honest, than I have, but hey ho, you know, this is how things go. There's still plenty of time, plenty of time. Have a good week.